for clicking on my video, visiting my channel. This is the Eccentric Mystic, and I'm here with another reading. This is specifically for the date of April the 18th, which is a Saturday. This coming Saturday, it's not yet Saturday, but I'm doing the reading to post on Saturday, April the 18th, just so you know. All right. So, first, before getting into the actual cards, I will say the channeled song for this reading, it came through. Thank you to my spirits and ancestors and spirit and source and everybody. Because I was like, what's the song? And I don't got a lot of time. The song came through is Pure Imagination. Um, it's when I look it up, it's giving me Timothy Chalamet. I guess it's the guy from the latest Willy Wonka, which I guess came out in 2023. As much as I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, I have not seen the latest version of that movie. However, I must say I did participate in a play of that movie, the original, when I was in the third grade. And what was interesting was I played Willy Wonka, and I was but the role was so big. I think it's because the role was so big that it had to get split into two. So it was me and my crush at the time, who played Willy Wonka. We split the role. I thought that was interesting. And it was my crush who actually I remained friends with for a very long time. Very, very, very long time. But it is somebody that I don't any longer like basically work to maintain connection with. Interesting. I don't think I need to go into details of that connection. Maybe it might come back up. Maybe this reading might be related to that person, people like that person. I don't know. I will say somewhere earlier or some point something came up about a DJ, and he is or was a DJ. Okay, interesting. So I will be honest and let you know if for whatever reason he pops back up in my head during this reading. But for now, I'm gonna go to these lyrics, pure imagination lyrics. Um, and like I said, I remembered the song from the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which was the original. Um, so the part I was really just thinking of was, "Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Reach out." I don't know how this part goes. Reach out, touch what was once just in your imagination. Don't be shy, it's alright if you feel a little trepidation. Sometimes these things don't need explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look at them and view it. Somebody to hold on to, it's all we really need, nothing else to it. I wonder, did they change the lyrics? Hmm. Anything you want to do, do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. I don't think they did, but let me see. Uh Come with me. Okay, yeah. He said, we'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Wanna change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. I love um I love this song. Um I love the song. I love those lyrics. And you know what? It's really reminding me of like my previous readings, my most recent readings. Really my most recent one was the most potent one out of like the last several that I've done and posted for my channel. But it became just so full of just spirituality. It's the one that I titled The Reawakening. It's like a messianic reawakening. So it's like straight up, like, ain't no logic here, right? With that reading, really, very much pure spirituality. Um, and that's why I had put in the description, I said, mark my words, because I don't have a way to prove it, but I follow in my spirit and I'm like, this is what I'm being called to say that I'm getting from this reading. And you know what? Also yesterday I was really singing the song in my head by the song from Cinderella, well, the one with Cinderella and Whitney, well, Brandy and Whitney Houston, where they were like, "It's possible, impossible," and basically saying like anything is possible. And it's crazy because I actually have a painting that I did probably like 2 summers ago on my wall, and it actually says, "The impossible is possible." So, yeah, I'm one of them. Believe in it, you can achieve it. But the thing is, the world does get to us. Life gets to us. It kills that very successfully in most of us human adults. It kills the imagination. It kills, you know, um, believing in the impossible. It kills uh, emotion. Or what is it like? Basically like following your heart type of stuff. Like it kills all that to where everything has to become logic, analytics, metrics. It has to be quantitative. Forget the quality, forget the qualitative stuff. And I've always been about the qualitative type of data, like stories, case studies, like diving in deep into the information that is beyond the numbers. But I can't lie, like I also have become more so kind of interested in like how can we put stories and numbers together. um you know what I mean, kind of like how they teach that in statistics. um and I just thought of like Jenna's song to statistics, but I don't know if that's actually relevant. But in statistics, like how to find the numerological, the numerical expression of a paragraph, or of some something written. I remember being obsessed with that when I was younger. um yeah. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna jump. Well, I'm being pressed to say this. So I was obsessed with that when I was younger, right? And so one way that I remember being obsessed with that, or the obsession became like significant for me, was again, I was very studious in church and in school. And so in church, I remember coming across the scriptures. Um, well, I could have come across the scriptures at home, but it was my Bible, in my Bible, came across like two different scriptures. I'm just not really trying to take too much time before getting into the cards. That's why I'm kind of trying to rush a bit. But one of the scriptures says, um, it basically said, God is spirit, right? Uh, right? Didn't say God is spirit. And then another scripture said, God is love. Um, and so I remember, in my obsession with trying to figure out like what exactly is God, like who exactly is God, and also what is love. I re- I remember coming across those two scriptures. Okay, so look, it's John 4:24. John 4 verse 24, it says, God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth. So I remember I took that first part of that scripture, right? I said, oh, God is spirit. Okay, right? And then the other scripture had God is love. And I really think that is the complete scripture. Thank goodness for Google, because I would not know where. I remember they both did come from John books though. Okay. God is love. Let's see. Bible demonstrates. Da, 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 da. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God. Whoever loves. No, no, no. Oh, okay, yeah. Uh, yeah. Okay, well, there's First John 4:16 says, and so we know and rely on the love God has for us. God is love. So it's a complete sentence there. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them. Um, yeah. And so the other one was First John 4:7-8. And at the end of that scripture, it says, God is love. So then what I did was, after learning in statistics that is will equal, um, basically when you're reading a paragraph or something and you see the word is, you're going to translate that by making that the equal sign, right? So what I did was I took, okay, well, that means God equals spirit. If God is spirit, then God equals spirit. If God is love, then God equals love. And then, I applied what I learned from algebra, perhaps one of the math classes, all these math classes. And I said, okay, well, they said, well, if A equal B and A equal C, then A equals C. And, like all of that stuff. So then I said, well, if God is spirit and God is love, well, then spirit is love. And then I said, well, God equals spirit equal love. So God, spirit, and love are all the same. And so that's one explanation, or that's my line of reasoning that I have in my soul, really in my heart at this point, when I am utilizing the terminology of spirit instead of God more so in my life these days, is because it's technically supposed to be the same thing, is it not? It's just perhaps just dressed up differently, but it's supposed to be the same thing. So then I just heard in my mind, like, so why not test the spirit? I mean, Jesus said to do that too, or at least somewhere in the Bible it said to do that. All right. So that is the message I was coming through. I want to get into the cards and see how all this is going to get put together. Okay. I got an opener oracle, I got a closer oracle. I have 9 tarot cards in between the two. Oh, let me also say that since this is for April the 18th, the overall number, well, first of all, I did get some significant numbers that stood out, I guess, more so in regards to me personally. But since I'm the one giving the message, these numbers do become relevant. So I remember having a dream, and I've kind of spoken on this dream multiple times about the number 18/8. Okay. But now I've had 2 different dreams with that number. One dream I had a long time ago. Was it like in the year 2017? And it was just 18/8 circled. Okay. And it was like an angel giving me a document with 18/8 written over, 18/8 written at the top circle. So it was looking like a document that I was getting back with extra credit. But then I also then had another dream last year of the same kind of thing. So 18/8, it wasn't circled, but it was like written on a document, and it was like this guy that I know holding it up for me to see. So I haven't yet completely figured out how the two are related, but I wonder if this Saturday has anything to do with those 2 dreams. And I will say the overall number for Saturday, April 18th, is the number 6. Okay. And I will say another song that popped up in my head that I didn't I didn't deep dive into, but I heard it after I had said something like, "You ready?" I was talking to Spirit, and I immediately heard, um, like from Deja Vu, Beyonce and Jay Z. Deja Vu, because she was like, "You ready?" Or I think he said, "You ready?" or something like that. All right. So, okay. The first oracle card opening up the reading or the cards is the seed. The seed. It's literally um very plain and simple. The seed. So now I'm thinking faith as a mustard seed. And we were just talking about pure imagination. That's the song that I channeled. And it's all about having imagination, believing in what it is that you think of. If you, he even said, if you want to change the world, and that makes me think about Michael Jackson. Um, be the change that you want to see, and that's also Gandhi. Um, but even faith as small as a mustard seed, that's all about belief. That's all about like not having the proof or the evidence or the tangible tools that you need, but you totally understand and know that you can eventually have this situation occur, or this wish come true, or this reality manifest, right? The number on that oracle card is 40. It's Roman numeral, so I'm having to practice. It's 10, 15, 16. I don't know. Let me see. I tried. What is it? Roman numeral. It's like 40 something or 60 something. Roman numeral LXVI. 66. Oh, look at that. That's another significant number for me. Yep, 66. The seed. Interesting. I'm gonna have to press pause because I am cooking and I don't want to burn my food. All right, I just unpaused. And when I sat down, the first thing that came to my mind was love is possible. Okay, so that could very well end up being what this reading is all about, but that is what came in my mind when I sat down. All right, so the seed, the seed. Now this is very interesting because now I have to dive in some more and let you know. There was a time when I had a job where I was regularly basically like counseling um students, college students, um, and they were former foster youth, and I'm a former foster youth. So I just remember something that I always would say, and I came up with this something that I always would tell them because they would oftentimes one thing that I would get from many of them was their they would be struggling with whether they should return home. Like they were away from home, whether it's their foster family or their adoptive family or biological family. Um, they were away from home. Now, this is very interesting because, I'm so tapped in. This is interesting, and I'm gonna tell you how this connects to Willy Wonka. Oh my gosh, spirit just makes me blush. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Okay, because a lot of them would often get to a point to where they're feeling like their family wants them back home. They're very much like helping their family, and they're at this basically it was a prestigious college. I graduated from there. It's prestigious college, and I remember one thing that I started implementing with them. I would say, like, okay, look, what is the objective of you being here? Like what do you want to get from being here? And typically the answer is to graduate with my degree, to graduate. Like if you just break it down to the most simplest desire, like what's the rooted desire? What's the simple single desire that you want from you being here? You done got accepted, you done got in, and you done put in probably at least a year. Usually it was like sophomore year where this became an issue. It was for me too. Um, and so I remember I defined that desire as the seed. of what it is they're doing here, what it is they're, or basically like we would go from, so identifying that seed, which was their desire, right, equal to their desire. um and very often it was, I want to graduate, I want to get my degree, so then I would go from there and basically say like, okay, so is you leaving to go back home, is that going to help you manifest that desire into reality? Like, is that going to help nurture that seed? It's not. Because if you leave, you're dropping out. You're not going to graduate. So we need to focus on and prioritize your desire. We need to focus on and prioritize that seed because that's why you're here right now. Right. So it typically was just an emotional and mental unraveling that we had to do to ensure them that, hey, like, you've come a long way, yes, and you've come further than probably all your family members, but you're not there yet, and they don't understand that. And it's on you to understand that more than it is on them, because you're the one who's going to make the decision, you know, and they can't, don't let them guilt trip you. And I would go deep though. So, but that's basically what I would often say, and I would utilize that exact terminology, seed, and I would equate that to their desire. Like, basically, why are we here? Why are you here? And I wouldn't press. Really, is I would ask questions, and then they would come with the answer, and I'm like, okay, well then we're gonna go from there. Your priority is to nurture this seed, which means what? I stay here. Yeah. You don't go back. You're not even ready yet. You're not even done. You're gonna try to help them cross the river and you don't even know how to swim yet. You don't have all the tools yet. So everybody gonna drown. I would say that often too. I would use that metaphor often too. So, anyways, now to relate this to the Willy Wonka and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, easy. Because another thing that would come up in those conversations was, you're being seen as the golden ticket. Literally, because you made it to this prestigious university. But again, like, we're not done yet. And then at that time, I think I had already graduated. And I said, when you graduate, you still ain't gonna be just making it. Because I remember I had to tell them I had to have some in between jobs that had nothing to do with my degree, nothing to do with what at all. Wasn't even jobs that I wanted, careers, and like nothing. I just had to make money. I said so, and that took time, you know. And so I was just, I just be helping my folks out. I miss them. But but yeah, we would utilize the terminology of golden ticket. I'm like, you like their golden ticket. They're just seeing you as the golden ticket. And like literally using their money. I'm like, that money ain't even yours. That money is financial aid and it's loans. And you're gonna have to pay that back. But they would be utilizing their money to help their family. I did the same thing. But it was literally our student loans that we was using. Ain't that crazy? Anyways, but yeah, so that's how that connected to the Willy Wonka thing, because I would utilize the terminology and concept of golden ticket. Like, you're literally being looked at and utilized as and felt to be the golden ticket. That's what was going on there. Um all right, let's flip over some more cards because it's definitely supposed to be tarot and not just a chat. Okay. Ooh, transformation with the death card. Oh, but not, because death card reversed. All right. And it's the 13 on it. Well, death is the 13th tarot or major arcana card, and today is the 13th. I just want to put that out there. Ooh, okay. Hold up. Wait a minute. All right. Now, this is bringing up something else because this ain't looking so good. But then again, it is. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Pause. Maybe it is. So I have the Death card reverse, the Wheel of Fortune reverse, but then also the Ten of Wands reverse. Hmm. Hmm. like the end to some burdens. Yeah, cycle of burdens. Somebody being used to being burdened, but with this death reversed. So I'm not getting like, because usually when I see the death card, I immediately think transformation. However, what I'm getting, especially with the background of everything before I flip the cards over now for this reading, I'm getting some energy that was trying to bring an end to someone's destiny. Yeah. Uh-huh. I'm getting some energy, an attempt, an attempt to bring an ending to someone's like destiny, will of fortune outcome. Um, but it's a failed attempt. And basically it's like a lightening up of this load. Spiritual warfare is what I'm getting. Mm. Now this is very interesting because when I think of the concept or the idea love is possible, that for me personally is directly related to my experience in spiritual warfare. My experience with spiritual warfare has primarily been um focused on, for me, love, like relationships not going well, not lasting, you know, even though, listen, everything goes together. So I think of even my astrological chart. In my astrological chart, Venus, who that rules love, money, beauty, it's basically when I was born, it was retrograde. And Jupiter was too. So actually think of this, and that's interesting because I'm gonna talk about the two. Well, because I was talking about those two put together, I did mention in a previous reading, I did get bold and I said, well, something I've thought of in terms of Jesus and the planet Venus, I've thought of Jesus as being like the personification of the energy that is created when you have like Venus and Jupiter conjunct, right? So like Jupiter being like that God energy and Venus being like that Mary energy. This is just what comes through my spirit, y'all. And then we have the baby Jesus, the seed, right? I'm just saying. And also think about that because 66 equals 12, which equals 3, which represents child. But anyways, I'm just saying, in my experience, my spiritual warfare has primarily been focused on blocking love from my life in different ways. Um, and so when I think, well, love is possible, I feel like that message comes through perhaps in relation to this reading to say, hey, that spiritual warfare is no more. Love is now possible, right? Get back to having that imagination um, being like active so that you can create from that space um, whatever it is you want. It's not just me. This is the message for whomever is also listening to this. But that is what I'm getting, yo. I'm getting like, ain't no ending to this destiny. What I am getting is like an ending to the spiritual warfare, right? However, there's like been attempt to, so if I bring death card upright and I bring wheel of fortune upright and I bring 10 of wands upright, it's like that makes it a little bit more easier for me to read. It's like when it's reversed, it's like reading backwards for me, but this makes it a lot easier. So this tells me like what had happened was right, like what had been happening was 7:11 on the clock. um Energies of death being sent to someone's wheel of fortune, causing them burden, like forever burden type of um manifestations, right? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So with all of that reversed, and then I look back at this seed card again, and I think of the number 66, which for me also, when I think of 66, I do think of the book of Revelation, which is the 66th book in the canonical Bible, which is basically the Bible that pretty much everybody uses. And that makes me think of the last reading that I did, the Messianic Awakening reading, because in that reading I spoke on the 24 elders that are mentioned in the book of Revelation. hmm Um, but I get like revelation of this. Now this could make me cry. Revelation of the ending to spiritual warfare for somebody. Mm-mm. Because listen, that is one thing that I have wished for. Look, what they say your wish and you'll give. Da, da, da. Look, I don't know. He basically was saying, like, make that wish, right? Shoot, because I have wanted that to be done. Am I done? Are we done yet? Are we done? You know? Um, and that makes me think about me thinking on Jesus with the other scripture that I had brought up in the previous reading too, John 14:12, where he says that basically, those who believe in me basically walk the walk that I walk. Um, they're gonna do greater works than I did because I'm leaving. Because my time is up is done and up. I'm going to live in heaven. I'm up out of here. I did my part. And so like no more spiritual warfare for Jesus because he definitely was in spiritual warfare, right? Interesting. All right, I'm flipping over more cards because the time is flying. So I got Eight of Swords, I got Page of Wands reverse, I got royalty inside my DNA. I got Four of Pentacles reversed. Somebody don't like this. That's what I'm getting. I was just about to, when I said somebody, I thought of where I got that from, which was Kevin Hart, one of his earlier stand-ups where he's like his daughter was like, so somebody had to go. Oh, somebody is in the Eight of Swords. It couldn't be the same person who is now being freed up from this spiritual warfare. No. Um, and you know what I just got? Somebody has transcended or beat death. Interesting. Like death was brought onto this person with these 10 of wands. Like it wasn't just to burden them, it was to like slowly kill them over time. Whoever sent this energy, I'm getting this Page of Wands reverse type of character. Somebody who thinks they know what they're doing. Don't never knew what they were going up against. Um, I just heard you can take the girl out the hood, but can't take the hood out the girl. Or the city, whatever you want to put it, right? It's like that seed. That seed is always gonna be in her. I just heard, or him. You can take the girl, the dude out the church, but you can't take the church out the girl or the dude, like whatever, right? Uh, you can take you can take her, you can take the girl from Venus, but you can't take the Venus out the girl. You know what I mean? I did just mention how Venus was retrograde in my chart, and I did get away from that, didn't I? Because I got ADHD. Um, I got ADHD inside my DNA. No, but I did bring that up for a reason though, because when I say like I've been in spiritual warfare, like I've been through spiritual warfare, maybe I'm coming out on the other end now. Maybe April the 18th is my day to come out and I'm done with this shit and I'm about to be in love. I don't know. But I say that I mentioned the whole Venus being retrograde in my chart. Um, Basically being retrograde when I was born and Jupiter being retrograde when I was born. Because I was just saying that to say basically the spiritual warfare that has occurred in my life, it has only been able to occur because that was the freaking plan. You know what I mean? Like that's what the energies were set up for. Like I when I've looked up what Venus retrograde in somebody's chart means, it doesn't mean that they're like destined to never be, to never have love. And Jupiter, they say, represents luck. Bro, that's love and luck. In my life, retrograde. You know what I mean? Fortune, retrograde, beauty, money, retrograde. But I looked it up and they said like that's not necessarily what it means, like, oh, you'll never have this, but it does mean it might be a delay. And when I would meditate on, well, why that is, especially Venus, because I would definitely feel that in my life all like growing up and adulting, a lot of my adult life. Um, I realized, well, I'm being forced to learn self-love. That definitely came through when I would meditate on Venus retrograde energy. Um, but yeah, so that's why I say like everything goes together because obviously not everybody experiences the spiritual warfare that I have, right? And you go to my chart and you say, oh, hey, well, this is how these doors were opened up because, yeah, you had these very significant planets in love and luck and fortune and money retrograde. So you had like, you were forced to do lots of inner work over and over and over and over and over. That's burdensome. All right, for a long time. And love, real love, was delayed in your life for sure. Um, so yeah, and I'm not the only person with those planets retrograde, so I'm sure somebody else can relate. So, but anyways, I am getting, yeah, whoever was sending this energy, they're considered to be a page of wands. So, what does that mean? That means somebody who, like, okay, there's page of wands, there's knight, there's queen, there's king. So you are like the lowest level of that fire energy. But of course, probably thinking they're much more powerful, much more able than they